This is Nan McKay, and I would like to introduce you today to Elin Barton. A passionate advocate for small business, Elin is the founder and president of White Knight Productions, an award-winning marketing and video production team. She has written her first book, Ready, Set, Grit: 3 Steps to Success in Life, Business, and the Pursuit of Happiness. So welcome, Elin.
Oh, thank you for having me. I just enjoy seeing you smile already. This is going to be fun.
It should be. Elin, your company, White Knight Productions, it guides people who want to tell their business story through video and marketing. So what really led you to starting your own company?
Oh, Nan, I wish I could tell you I had a big master plan, and I knew what I was doing, and like I knew where I was going to be going. It's almost 14 years ago that we started the company. And I say my husband had started a very different company where he was working in video, but it was mainly for people's personal videos, and he was helping them digitize them and get rid of all their VHS tapes and things like that. When I took over the company, we changed focus. He kind of stepped back, and I've been running the company this whole time. But it was necessity because we had to make money to support our family. It was because entrepreneurship is in my blood, and it just seemed like a natural thing to do. And it was because I had applied for a job, to be quite honest, and I didn't get it. And I was like, I wonder what I should do now. And we live in upstate New York. We had moved here from LA. My husband and I both worked in video production for a while, actually many years. And having moved here and noticing a need for such a business in this area led us to start the company. And he, but at the time I took over, he wanted to step back. So I was like, okay, I'll take the reins, and have been at it ever since.
And having fun, it sounds like. Enjoying. I mean,
Most days.
We have those up and down days. But...
Yes, for sure.
So how does storytelling create what you call effective marketing?
Yeah, marketing, it's all about having people think about your brand. And when they go to purchase your services or purchase your product, you want to be top of mind. You want them to have a good feeling about your brand and what you stand for and what you're all about. So how do you do that? You do that through telling your story. You do that through being authentic. People are sick of gimmicks. People are really over, being tricked into buying something or liking something. I really feel like being authentic, and even, maybe it's even like a little controversial what your company stands for. That's okay, because you'll attract the people who resonate with your message, with your mission, and with your brand. And storytelling is a great way to convey all of that. At White Knight, we work mainly with video. However, I always tell my clients video is the first step, not the end product. So yes, you're making a video, but then what are you going to do with it? Because it's no good to you or anyone if you make a video that one person sees. You need to have a plan to support that. You need to have goals. And that's a whole other story. It's a whole different way to look at it, really. But what people are going to resonate with on an emotional level is your story and your authenticity, and even sometimes your vulnerability. When we use, because video is our main medium, it's a powerful medium to be able to connect to people in that way. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, and it does seem like so much of whether you're on Facebook Live or whether you're on LinkedIn stories or Instagram stories, it seems like that's the wave of the future, or at least it's the now.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think so. And there are so many statistics and so much research around this topic. And video content is content that people share at a much higher rate than anything else. We've gotten to this point in society where I have to say, I'm a reader. I love reading books, but even though I love books, I kind of have found that I'm gravitating to audiobooks. People everybody's in such a hurry these days, and reading long blocks of text or reading an instruction manual, most people would prefer to watch a video. Like, just show me how to do the darn thing. I don't want to read pages and pages and pages of this. So we've become this kind of society that really resonates with videos, because you can get so much information. They say that a picture is worth 1,000 words, and a minute of video is 1.8 million words. There's research around this, I know. And maybe it isn't truly 1.8 million, but it's a lot of words because you get so much information from video.
That's really interesting. When I think about you kind of switching over from your husband taking on the business and then you switching over to the business, I think the number one reason why people are afraid to pivot from a career to a business is financial. How did you make that financial pivot? Were you working before you went into business with him, or how was that working?
Well, I think it was partly ignorance that let me do it, to be honest. We moved to upstate New York from California, where my husband had a very good job, and I was home with the kids for the most part. My husband is 18 years older than me too. I think that this is an important part of my story that I would like to share, because when I was home with the kids, I wasn't working for a few years there. And that was an amazing time in my life that I would, like, the richest time of my life, absolutely would never trade that for anything. But I always had it in my mind that one day our roles would reverse and I would become the breadwinner. And in fact, that's what's happened. But the path between there and here has not been clear, and it has not been easy. And I don't know, like, if I had known all of the struggles that were going to happen along the way, I don't know if I would have made the leap, to be honest with you. It might have been harder, because with some people who run a business, it may be a secondary source of income, or, they might have a large cushion of cash. We had a small cushion of cash that let us start the business, but we didn't have that security. And so that puts a lot of pressure on you when you start a business, and it is your family's sole source of income. And then we had employees, and we had, it was really a lot. What helped me make the leap and stick with it was simply necessity. When you have to make it happen, you find a way to make it happen. And quitting, I know it's a cliche, but quitting just was not an option. And so we got through those tough times. We certainly experienced them. I like to share that part of my story too, because so many entrepreneurs go through very difficult situations at one time or another. And I think it's important to speak about it. I don't believe there's any shame in that. It's just something that happens, and you have to find a way through it. And along the way, you find supporters, and you find knowledge and gifts and all of this other stuff. I wouldn't really have changed my journey. If there was a way to magically go back, I would do it all over again. But that was not to say it was easy. So I don't know if that does answer your question, but I think you make the leap by just making the leap.
Yeah, and it probably makes a difference at what stage in your life you make the leap. I've been thinking that if you are younger and you're making that leap, it seems like you have so many years ahead to make it up if it doesn't work. Where when you're older, you have the positive of being able to maybe make the leap because you're not taking such a big leap. It's not your whole change of career. It's more like just maybe going from a career saying, I've got enough money to do what I need to do to start the business, whatever that might be. I don't want to start a big thing. I'm going to go ahead and do it. But it kind of depends on your stage and where you are. Don't you think that has something to do with it?
Well, definitely starting a smaller thing on the side is an easier route. And yeah, I think it definitely has something to do with it. But for me, I always feel there's been a few times in my life where I made a big jump and leap of faith. When we moved across the country, we had been living in LA for 10 years. We had a great situation there. Great job, house, life. We had a lot of friends and it was wonderful. We decided to make the move across the country for a lifestyle change. And we didn't know we were going to start a business. We didn't really know what was going to happen. At the time, I had a job I brought with me and it gave us some income and we made some money when we sold our house. And, we were like, okay, we're just going to figure this out. And I feel that for me, it's really important that I don't come to the end of my life and go, oh, I wish I would have tried to do that. Like there's a place to play it safe, I guess, but there's also a place to step out and do what you really believe is calling to you and to just try. Like you're not going to know if you can do it until you try it. So I think if you feel in your heart of hearts that you'd like to give starting a business a shot, I don't know that it matters what age you're at. Like, yes, if you're 23, you have a lot less to lose than, maybe if you're, older and you have a family and other obligations. But I'm a big proponent of, no time like the present, just like, start figuring it out.
Do it.
Yeah, exactly.
You attended the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program. I had another person I interviewed that did that. How are the participants selected and what do they learn in the program? What did you feel the importance of it was for you?
Yeah, I'll tell you, for me, it was absolutely instrumental in transforming my business. I mentioned I've been in business almost 14 years, and the beginning part of those years was great. We grew fast. We were doing really well. We hired people. The middle part was tough. And it was 2015 when I did the program. And it was a time when I was having a lot of struggles. I was shocked that I was accepted into the program. And then it taught me the basics of business. I was a person that, I don't know if you can tell, I can be slightly impulsive at times, but I jumped into business without really knowing much about business. My family is a family of entrepreneurs. So I did have some practical knowledge, but I had zero, knowledge about bookkeeping or forecasting or budgeting or any of that stuff. That's, obviously really important. Now I know, but like at the time I didn't know. And so going through the Goldman Sachs program to me gave me that foundation. It takes you through all aspects of business and kind of, it gives you like a mini MBA experience in 4 months. And it's free. It's funded by Goldman Sachs. You do have to apply. And one of the nice things that's happened recently is post-COVID, or I don't know if we are post-COVID, but like because of COVID, they've relaxed the requirements to get into the program. So now I think you have to have been in business for 2 years or more, made $75,000 in your past year and have 2 employees or more. And so that's, it's not for startups, but it's for pretty small businesses. And it's quite a time commitment. They do screen people carefully because they want to get people that really want to do it and are going to take it seriously. But you end up, all the work you do in the program is on your business. So you really, you dig in and it's all relevant to what you're doing. So I always recommend the program, and it has transformed my business and so many people I know, their businesses too.
Well, as a result of that experience, you founded the Boardroom. So tell us a little bit about what is the mission of the Boardroom?
Yeah. So the Boardroom is an online community of entrepreneurs. And I founded that. It started out with other alums from the Goldman Sachs program, and now it's expanded to entrepreneurs. And not any entrepreneurs, but entrepreneurs who are community focused, who believe in helping one another and growing stronger by, working together. It's not a place where you're going to get sales pitched to death or anything. It's a place where people share knowledge and ask questions. And we have weekly meetings. We have speakers that come in and teach us things, peer speakers, not theoretical academic speakers. There's a place for that, but it's not in the Boardroom. The Boardroom is about like street smart knowledge from people who have been there in your shoes and are, they know about like trying to make payroll when you don't know if you can make payroll. They know what that's like, and they can help you with really practical knowledge and tips and, resources to run your company. So that's what the Boardroom is. It's an online community. And in fact, this month in September, we are kind of switching up the format of those Friday talks and introducing something called the Inner Circle. So twice a month, rather than it being a speaker who's coming in and speaking to the group, it's more like a think tank. It's a discussion-based opportunity to really go deep into some topics that matter to business owners and talk to your peers, network with your peers in a way that you don't get in a lot of other places, where you're really talking at a high level about some of these topics. So very excited about that. Our first Inner Circle talk is coming up next week.
So if people want to join the Boardroom, can they do that?
Yes, they can. There is a short application because I do want to maintain the like purity of that community. I want to make sure that people are there for the right reasons. We are switching it up a little bit so that joining the Boardroom is going to be free. And I'm doing this. I know that you've been on the website and there was a small membership fee, but we're changing it up a little bit. So just joining the community is free, but you do have to get accepted into the community or be referred by somebody, because we're just trying to, nothing irritates me more than connecting with somebody on LinkedIn and then immediately they're like selling you stuff. And yes, we want to do business together for sure, but we want to do it in a more authentic way. We want to build the relationship first and then do the business together.
And I think that's the way most people are operating today on what they want. I don't think everybody is doing it, but it's what they want. And I have to struggle making myself do that, in the sense that I get so excited about what I'm involved in that I want to talk about it. And then I think, step back. Step back, man.
But you know what, you're making, even with this podcast, you're having an authentic conversation with people. Yeah. And when you take the time to do that, then people want to help you. It's just taking a little time to make those connections means the world.
I think so too. I want to talk about your book. I want to talk about your first book. Let me say it again. Ready, Set, Grit. 3 Steps to Success in Life, Business, and the Pursuit of Happiness. So tell us about the book.
Well, I would love to. So the book is for people who are wanting to create something different in their business or their lives. Maybe they're already in business and are feeling a little stuck, are feeling like they want to be doing something a little different. but aren't quite sure how to get there. They find themselves in the weeds and doing too much, in the business. So they're tired and they don't have the resources and time to dedicate to recreating something different. Or maybe it's somebody that really isn't interested in running a business at all, but they have a feeling within themselves that they've always wanted to become a painter, or they've always wanted to volunteer with animals, or, whatever that thing is, and they can't quite figure out how to make it happen. The book is designed to help people get unstuck. So we, in the book, it's divided into 3 parts: Ready, Set, Grit. We talk about mindset and beliefs. We talk about creating a strong foundation for what you're building. And then the third part, the grit part, is really about helping you get some tools to stay motivated and dig in and do the work and show up the next day and do it again, and not lose your passion for it, not lose your drive and your thirst for success. That can be a hard thing to achieve. So the book is full of examples, but it's also full of exercises and action steps. I'm really a person of action, and nothing makes me feel more stuck and more scared, getting into a place of fear or an unpleasant place. Nothing gets me there faster than not being able to figure out what my action steps are. Like as long as I can keep moving and trying different things, I'm okay. So the book has lots of prompts and lots of suggestions for staying in action as you are moving closer and closer to your goal.
Why did you write the book?
Well, I wrote the book when I was struggling so much with business way back those years ago. It was super hard because of all the reasons I already talked about, being the breadwinner for my family and being unsure if I would be able to fulfill those obligations, not to mention, my employees and everything. It was so hard. And going through that time when I just wanted to curl up in a ball and stay in the closet and not deal with it, I kept thinking, I just kept thinking, there's got to be a reason for this. There's got to be something that's going to come out of this. And so I began to get this idea to write the book. And especially as we began to slowly come out of that time, I didn't want to forget the time. I wanted it to mean something. And I wanted to be able to try to help other people that might be going through something similar, or just wanting to change where they're at. It doesn't have to be as dramatic as our challenges were, but I think it's really important to talk about. So I wanted to write the book, and to start with, the book kind of wrote itself in many ways.
Why don't you take us on your journey a little bit in the process of writing the book? And I'm saying that because I think there's a lot of people today that are writing books. I mean, Amazon has made it so much easier than it used to be to do that. And tell us about kind of what you went through, and for somebody who's trying to write a book and then wants to get it published, what was your journey?
Well, like I said, I had the idea to write the book and I started writing it. It flowed pretty easily. I've always liked to write, so that it's been an easy thing for me to do my whole life, is to write. I've always been told I'm a good writer. So, so when I'm going through a tough time, that's an easy thing. I know I can do that. And I just started writing the book. It flowed. I was in a group at the time, and it was called Project Positive Change. And there were a lot of positive change makers from all over the world in that group. And that's where I met my publisher, Sean Patrick, who eventually became my publisher. I showed him early drafts of the book. He's actually in the UK. And he liked it. And he said, yes, I'll publish your book. And we started working together. And 4 years later, like we're finally releasing it to the world. It's a very long process for me, because although the book came out easily at first, I mapped out my chapters. Sean gave me lots of great feedback. We worked together on this book, and a first draft came out pretty easily. And then what happened to me is I got sick of the book, and I just couldn't deal with it. I couldn't edit it. I was like, I just can't even, I just couldn't do it. And so during the next 4 years, I would go back to it from time to time, and of course I talked about the book. So people are always asking me about the book. Hey, how's your book going? And 4 years later, I just decided this is ridiculous. So I went back and I did a real re-edit of everything and got it to a place where I was happy, and then proceeded to complete the process with Sean. And now it's coming out. September 20th will be the release date. And that's the book. And it's one like side thing that came out of that is that White Knight Productions now does audiobooks. I love listening to audiobooks. And Sean, in these years, now he's published more than 100 authors, and we've started doing audiobooks for some of them and for some other people. So that's kind of a fun thing. Even though it was such a long journey for my book, I always feel like things happen at the right time. So I became to believe, I would be at peace with it. And along the way, for me, there were some other key people who showed up and became part of my life and really helped me with the book. My friend Laura is a publisher, and she gave me a lot of great insight and tips, and she gave me she helped me with editing as well. So a couple people had a hand in editing, and I think it makes it a much better book.
So you did have to go through some things to get there. I mean, even the people that publish a ton of books still get writer's block once in a while.
Yeah, absolutely. Or just I just got so sick of the book. I don't know any other way to put it. It's just and it's a good book. Like, I'm excited about the book now, but to go back and work on it in the middle part was really hard for me. So I don't know. Now I like the book, but in the middle part, I just couldn't. And I think that has a lot to do with just what's going on in the rest of your life. When the business started to turn around, it got really busy, and I didn't have time or energy to focus on the book. And, so it's part of that too. I guess it's just finding the way all the puzzle pieces fit together at the right time. And now it was finally the right time.
Those are really good thoughts. And I think will help people, because I'm sure they come up against some of the same thing. I want to go to another thing. In 2020, you were named one of Enterprising Women's Champions, which is a national award that recognizes the work and the accomplishments of female business owners. Monica Smiley has been on our show, and I had met her at a NABO conference. So I really think a lot of Enterprising Women. I think it's a fabulous organization. So it's a big deal. What prompted the recognition for you?
Yeah, it is a big deal. And yet I was nominated by someone in my network. And when I was nominated by her, I didn't know much about Enterprising Women. I have to be honest with you. And at that time, when I received that nomination, I started to do my research, and I was just amazed by the work that Monica's been doing, and by the incredible network that she's built over the years. So it has been, a true honor to become part of that community. Absolutely.
And now you're on the board of directors, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little more about Enterprising Women, and then what your role is as a board member.
Yeah, absolutely. So Enterprising Women, for more than 20 years, Monica has been supporting female business owners all over the world. She started the magazine to profile the stories of women business owners and to help elevate their profiles. She has been doing this conference and award recognition for, I don't know if that's been going the whole 20 years. I kind of think it has. I can't remember exactly, but for a long time. And giving women the opportunity to get recognized for the hard work that we do. If you think about it, so often, I think especially with women, our work does go unrecognized. We just put our heads down and do it. And we're doing so many things. It's to take the time to pause and say, yes, I did this, or yes, look at her, she did this. It's amazing. It's so important to do that, but we don't often have space to do that. So Monica's created that, which is amazing. And then on top of all of that, she has the foundation, which she also created. And the foundation's work is aimed at helping girls who are high school girls, middle school girls, and who want to work in STEM. And so often those girls don't have mentors or support or a vision forward. I guess that may be changing now, but it's still a problem. And we know it's a problem. There's very few women in those fields still. So she created this really cool program where girls who get involved with the program can go to the conferences and see these successful business owners and get paired with mentors that work in these fields and stuff. So it's very interesting. As part of the board, I've gotten to support Monica's endeavors. And a really cool thing that we got to do was to create a video about the foundation. And that video was played last year at the conference. So that was really awesome that we got an opportunity to do that and help them tell their story.
That does sound good. When you think about it, what would be the biggest tip for women thinking about becoming an entrepreneur that you could give?
That's a good question. I guess I would say your network is your net worth, so don't underestimate the value of your connections. Really purposefully build those connections, build your network, and tell everybody about your dreams. Don't be afraid to talk about it. The more you talk about it, the more real it becomes. And people really want to help you. People really do want to help you and support you. So if you just start telling people what you're doing and why you're doing it, what your vision is, you'll find that you'll get introduced to, somebody or invited to an event, or, things will start to happen. And I always try that, and that happens to me too. Like I find, people will say, hey, I think you should talk to so-and-so or whatever. And I always try to say yes as much as possible to those situations, because you never know. Not everything might lead to something. I always try to go, and I suggest that people go into these situations with an open heart and an open mind and with a feeling of service. Like if you come into a new conversation with, how can I help you? Then frequently the person will reciprocate and say, well, how can I help you? And you never know where that's going to lead. Maybe it doesn't lead anywhere, but you never know. So I think that that's the biggest thing, is to believe in yourself, believe in what you're building, and just get out there and talk about it and have that faith that it's going to happen. Don't worry so much about how it's going to happen. Be open to it happening even faster than you ever imagined, because the universe works in mysterious ways, So
my last question is, what do you envision for your future?
Ooh, all the good stuff. All the good stuff. The thing for me about business and running a business and all of the stuff that I'm doing is I've always been, freedom has always been my word. I'm always like, I want to create freedom for myself, and whatever that looks like. I don't want freedom from working. I like working. I like connecting with people. I like building things. I like helping people. I don't really like retirement, doesn't appeal to me very much, to be honest. But I've been working hard at becoming a laptop entrepreneur. I really want to live abroad a month every year. I really want to be able to work from anywhere. I think that's really important to me. I've been working hard at making time for family and friends, and especially before COVID, I was really trying to focus on visiting people and spending time with people, very aware of time, and the time being the one thing that we can't get more of, and we can't get it back. So I'm just trying to be intentional about what I'm building and experiencing and giving and sharing, and in so much as that's possible, to just have a moment every day to be aware of that. I am attempting to have more of those moments and to continue to do that. But it might be from the south of France, or like, it might be from goodness knows where, anywhere. And that would be kind of cool.
Having traveled all over the world, I know what you mean. But I just hadn't heard it called laptop entrepreneur. Oh, I like that.
I like it too. I like it too.
Do you have anything else that you would like to add?
I mean, just thank you to you for being so generous and open and having me on your show, and for all the women that reach out and support one another. It's so important, and it's so fulfilling to take the time to do this. I know it's easy to get sucked into all of our busy days. Everyone is so busy, but every time I pause and have a conversation like the one we just had, or just take the time to get to know somebody a little bit more, it always fills up my soul. So I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for doing this.
Well, you are welcome, and it was just fun to meet you.
Likewise. Thank you so much.